Hi guys, it's Karen with Honest Intimacy. I'm here today to ask you a question. How much longer are you going to allow yourself to not be treated kindly, respectfully, softly, gently, like the person you want to be treated? The word allow really hit me really hard one year when I was actually in counseling. And I had a counselor ask me that very question. Because see, what happened was I was in a relationship that was very unhealthy and it was not very good for me. And it really, I'm going to change that wording. I chose and put myself into a position where I ended up feeling like I didn't deserve much. I put myself into a position where I felt like if I did anything for myself, whether it be going out with my girlfriends all the way to, taking an hour-long hot bath, just because I felt like it, it got to a point where I felt like I didn't deserve anything like that, and it got to a point where I just felt totally undeserving. I mean, totally undeserving. And I went to a counselor. I did counseling for about 7 years actually. In my very early 30s is when I did it. And I'm going to tell you that it really hit me funny one day when I truly listened to what my counselor was saying. You know how people can tell you something and tell you over and over and over again, and you never hear it, and then one day all of a sudden it's like, bing, you hear it. All of a sudden it's like, I heard it, and then you're like analyzing your whole life like you just had a revelation. Meanwhile, the person's been telling you for like years, right? So that kind of stuff can happen. It happens to the best of us. It happened to me. But what I'm getting at is, I was in this counseling session and I was doing all this finger pointing. Oh, he didn't blah, 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 and he blah, 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 and he blah, 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 and he. I mean, I was he-ing all over the place, right? And what's really funny, and I picked up on it that day and I've used it ever since, is that word allow. She used it on me. She said, Karen, when are you going to stop blaming? Because the truth is, you're allowing it. Think about it. Think about that sentence. Think about that word. If somebody is instant messaging you cruel and mean things, calling you names, if somebody's calling you names, if somebody's telling you how bad of a person you are, if someone is always late and you wait around all dressed up for your lovely date, you thought you were going out, and in your mind your expectation was you're going to go out to a really nice place, etc., etc., so you're all dressed up, and instead they're 45 minutes late. You find yourself with that gut feeling of looking out the window, and you're peeking out the curtains to try to not look like you're checking to see if he's showing, but instead he is not showing. Finally, 45 minutes later, he does show, and then he's got jeans on and flip-flops, and there you are all dressed up in a pretty black dress, and oops, how silly. You had expectations and didn't clarify what went on, and so his plan was to go to the burger place, right? You're a little overdressed for the burger place, just saying. So what happened was that word allowed hit me. It's like, I've heard the saying over and over and over again. You teach people how to treat you by your actions and behaviors and words. You teach people, meaning if you keep on allowing the person to be 45 minutes late without calling, if that bothers you, you need to say something, and if you haven't said anything, shame on you, because you're allowing that behavior. If you're still waiting 45 minutes afterwards, and this is a constant habit of this person, and you've set a boundary that you do not want to go out with somebody if they don't call you and tell you politely they're going to be late, and they don't show up repeatedly until too late, girl, I'd be out of there. I would find myself something to do, whether it was take myself to the library, take myself to the movies, or just plain go to a girlfriend's house. Because see, if you're always there and pretending that it's all okay, when this is a repeated behavior that this person knows you don't appreciate, you are allowing that to happen. Does that make sense? You are allowing these things to occur. When somebody only wants you to come over to their house when you don't have your kids because it's the weekend you don't have your kids, and they only want you to go to their house, and they only want you to hang out with their friends, and they don't want anything to do with your children, and they want nothing to do with your personal life nor your family, heads up, if you're continuously dating that person, then you are allowing that behavior to occur. Right? You're allowing it by continuously saying yes and by going out with this person. So my point in this is, if you are allowing things and you haven't spoken up, which brings us right back to honest intimacy, and you haven't explained to them that, you know what, let's go with the late version, the late person showing up all the time version. If you haven't said, here's the deal. I can appreciate that maybe you're a person that always runs late. I can get that. But then it would be best if you intend on being at my house by 7, but tell me to be ready by 7:30, because that way I know you're always a half hour late, and that way I'm not ready at 5 minutes to 7 expecting you to show up. If you can't do that, I want you to know, if you start showing up later than that, and if you start being after 20 minutes late and I've had no phone call, I've got other plans. And so I want you to know I've got other plans. So if you show up at the door and I don't answer, it's because I went ahead with my other plans, because I decided you weren't going to be showing up because you didn't call me. So how am I supposed to know? So there are ways to word things to set appropriate boundaries. There are ways to word things so you no longer allow the poor behavior that really hurts your feelings, makes you sad, makes you feel unloved, whatever the case may be, makes you feel like you don't deserve, right? Because the truth is, we are in control of our relationships, of ourselves, of what we allow and don't allow. And that's what I hope to have you hear from me today. You have the power to not allow things you don't want to have happen, and to allow things that are okay with you, and to set boundaries for things that need to have boundaries set. Again, that's what I do. So what I do is I help women to set appropriate boundaries and to get on the right page with really getting deep within yourself and figuring out what is or not acceptable to you, what is okay with you, what is a boundary. If you don't have properly set boundaries, and if you're also equally suffering from the allowing, how much stuff you're allowing to go on that really does not work for you, then I really challenge you to write me back, email me, do something, and get on the same page of starting to treat yourself better. Treat yourself better. Stop allowing things that you don't want to allow. You deserve better than that. I hope this helped. If so, write me back and tell me that this helps and it resonates with you. I really kind of want to know, are videos working for you better than the emails, or do you like the emails better? I'm just testing this out. So I'm trying to see which way resonates best with you guys, and does it help to see me, or is it better to write emails? Make sure both, you tell me, because I'd really like to know, because I really am here to serve you. So hope you're having a great day. Remember, pay attention to what you're allowing that you don't really want to allow. Talk to you later.